have to feel overwhelmed when you decide to do something for the first time. Instead, you have to learn how to be patient. And as your favorite mental health specialist, welcome or welcome back. That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Now, of course, because patience is a skill, it is going to be very time consuming. I do not like to affirm that things are going to be difficult and hard, because once you come to an agreement verbally and emotionally, mentally, psychologically, all those things intuitively, that something is hard and difficult, that's what it becomes. We don't need to manifest that. Like, the power of the tongue is powerful. That's going to be a different topic for a different video. But for this video specifically, what has helped me along my healing journey, and just from experience as a mental health specialist, as a motivational teacher, as an entrepreneur, as your favorite rich auntie, if you know, you know, I've had to learn how to be patient when it came to me elevating, ascending, and learning things in life, because you will stress yourself out. And as your favorite mental health specialist, I do not like to be stressed, and it's not common sense. If it was so common sense, people would not be mentally unstable. Everybody would sing kumbaya. Everyone would be at peace. People wouldn't have no worries. People wouldn't be depressed. People wouldn't be prescribed medications, all those things. Okay. So from experience, we have to realize that if we're doing something that is unfamiliar, it's going to require a lot of energy. It's going to require a lot of effort. And it's not until we do things for a long periodical time until we get the flow of things, until we get the momentum. So an example of this is if you are getting yourself out of poverty. If you grew up financially unstable, that is going to affect you psychologically, mentally, and emotionally. And however, it's going to show up through your attitude. It's going to show up through your behavior. It's going to show up through your mindset. It's going to show up how you feel about yourself. It's going to show up how you feel about the world. So if you are getting yourself out of a certain environment financially, and you're learning to become financially literate, you're learning how to become educated in these areas, you have to release things that are no longer serving you, that you've been exposed to from your childhood to your teenage years to your adult years, and learn new things about how you feel about money and financial literacy and etc. And that's a lot, depending on, like I said, if you're doing things by yourself, or maybe you have like a financial advisor, you have an accountant, etc. Everybody's situation is different. You know your situation better than I do, so take what resonates, leave the rest. Same thing if you grew up in a dysfunctional household and you decide that you want to become healthy with your communications. Maybe you want to learn to be loving. Maybe you didn't grow up with confidence. Maybe you grew up in an abusive household, mentally, physically, emotionally. You have to realize that it's not until you learn and you become educated about what you need to do to improve yourself that you'll be able to see the change. And another thing with that, and as you're learning to be patient, is to let go of the outcome. When you learn how to master patience, when you learn how to put in the work, when you become educated and aware, and you're doing everything that you can, you have to let go of the outcome. If you could let go of the outcome and you could just learn to be patient, and you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, it's no reason for you to feel overwhelmed. Because speaking from experience, if you're trying to do something and you're overwhelmed, it's going to cause you to have anxiety. It's going to cause you to be anxious. It's going to cause you to feel depressed. It's going to cause you, no shade to these Western societies and pharmacists, to be prescribed to medicine. And I'm being honest with you, you don't have to take medicine or feel like there's something wrong with you psychologically when you can go to the root. Now, of course, when it comes to doing things naturally, you do, like I said, have to go through withdrawals, because medicine is temporary. That's what they don't want to tell you. Now, the time that you take medicine is if you have a temporary situation. But even still, if you're going to have medicine, the goal is to become educated and figure out what it is that you need to do so you could prevent those things from happening. Now, this doesn't mean that we're not going to go through things. That's like if you get sick. If I get sick, if I'm getting medicine, I need to follow up with what it is that I'm doing and make it a lifestyle, so therefore I could prevent those things to happen. And that's the same thing when it comes to our healing journey. Like, when you are unlearning a certain way of living, when you are unlearning a certain way of thinking, you have to cut off certain things. You have to create distance. You have to start implementing things, and you have to start doing it over and over and over and over again until you're able to get to where you need to be. But if you don't realize that it requires every single day, like every single day is important, you're going to feel paralyzed. That's why people suffer from PTSD, because they're holding on to certain mindsets and certain behaviors and certain trauma and not releasing it. And another thing I'm really going to get in the bag with this video is making a decision. You have to stand firm on your decisions. That's why if you're new here, I made a 30-day consistency challenge. I made a 30-day consistency and successful playlist with exposing what it looks like to be successful and be committed overall when it comes to healing. Now, of course, success and consistency is going to look different for everybody because you get to determine that. But overall, in general, for most people, like, you have to know that if you decide that you want to heal yourself, you have to be 100%. And when you learn to be 100% committed to something, naturally you will learn to be patient. Naturally, like I said, you can release the feeling of frustration. You can release the feeling of being overwhelmed. But if you are not 100%, if you're 50-50, like, you are not going to be able to trust yourself to execute what it is that you're doing. And like I said, this is going to cause you to be paranoid. This is going to cause you to feel overwhelmed and have these fears. And we don't need that. As your favorite mental health specialist, as a person, I don't like to be stressed because it's just like, it's unnecessary. Like I said, it causes a lot of problems psychologically, emotionally, physically, financially, intuitively. And once again, you have to realize too, it's important that if you do not have community, you have to stick with yourself. If you have God, ancestors, and universe, you have to build a strong connection with that. If you don't believe in that, you have to build a strong relationship with yourself. Like, that's what that is. The lack, the fear, the doubt is because there is no faith or there is no trust. And if you don't have faith, if you don't have trust, it's not gonna be. So it's just like, learning to be patient is a skill. And learning to be patient is a form of kindness. It's a form of love, which is a high frequency. And like I said, if you grew up and you're not used to being patient, you're used to being impulsive, you're used to whatever it is that you are used to, you have to realize that you're going to feel triggered because you're growing. So if you grew up in poverty and you no longer want to be broke or whatever it is, you're going to feel triggered. You're feeling triggered because it's just like what people call it, flesh and spirit, or fight or flight. That's your nervous system. That's your brain. That's your mind. Like I said, if you guys are really tapped in, you know the vibes. Like, you feel unbalanced. Your immune system is unregulated because you're going back and forth. It's like, do I want to be a multi-millionaire or do I want to stay in poverty? Do I want to sit here and get my degree, or am I going to sit here and feel like a loser or a failure or whatever it is that people projected onto you? Am I going to get this new house? Am I going to get this new job? Or am I going to sit here? Like, you have to pick. You have to pick, and you have to stick with it. And every single day, you have to be very intentional about what it is that you are asking for. So as you're learning to be patient, as you are showing up for yourself, things do get lighter over time. Like I said, when you're releasing trauma, it's a lot. It is a lot. Like, I'm not invalidating nobody's experience. I am speaking from experience. And as I'm speaking from experience, that's just what it is. Like I said, when you do it naturally, when you do it with no handouts. Now, if you want a handout, if you have the help, you have the resources, do not take those people for granted. But if you are self-made, self-taught, learning how to do things that nobody else in your family, nobody else in your friends is doing, it's a lot, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming. You have to learn how to be patient. Like, there are only 24 hours in a day. It's only so much that you could do. You will stress yourself out. Stop trying to stress yourself out. Just accept the fact that you're trying to do everything that you can. And that's all that matters. All that matters is that you are trying to be patient. All that matters, if your goal is to lose weight and you've been overweight your entire life, you've been eating unhealthy foods and you're tired of it and nobody else is willing to help you or nobody else around you is eating healthily, as long as you are trying to exercise, as long as you are trying to implement new supplements, as long as you are trying to become educated about certain foods and certain nutrients, it is going to work out when it works out. You have to trust the process, because that's how you get things done. It's the process. It's not the result. It's not the things that we want. It's how we had to do the things that needed to be done. If you are trying to go back to school and get your degree, your doctorate, your bachelor's, etc., you have to know that all those tests, all those exams, all those hard nights, all that studying is going to be worth it. Like, you have to be very intentional about what it is. So if you guys are new here, check out that 30-day playlist challenge, It's 20 videos, and all of those videos are like at least 15 to 20 minutes. Like, it's an investment. So it's just like, if you could watch people, you know, make food and entertainment for YouTube or whatever, use this to better yourself. Like, you have to realize that. You have to realize that, like, it's a time and a place to do certain things, and I do believe in balance. Like, you don't always have to be working all the time and, you know, serious all day every day, but it's just like, if you want to accomplish certain things, you have to do certain things, but it requires you to be patient because you have to make it happen. Like, things take time, and from somebody who's learning that things take time, especially when you're doing things brick by brick, it's no reason to be overwhelmed. Like, as long as you are taking every single day, the time is going to go by. The time is going to go by regardless. Like, it is February. In 5 months, 3 months, and a year from now, 4 years from now, you are making progress. And like, you can't limit your goal. That's what a lot of people are not going to talk about. And that's what a lot of people are not going to tell you. You can't limit when you receive a blessing, especially, like I said, for those of you who are intuitive, especially because, like, it's a time and a place. I try to speak in code for those of you who know, because like I said, there's a time and a place, but it's like, let's be for real. It is the year 2025. If we want this year to be different, things have to be different. And you have to have the mindset. If you don't have the mindset, if you're not working on yourself, you're going to feel paralyzed. And that's what we need to continue to focus on, is just making sure, like, is this what we really want? Do I really want to heal? Do I really want to ascend? Because over here, you're going to have to pick a side. If I am going to pick a side, you're going to have to pick a side. If not, this is not for you, but it is. You got to pick a side. And we have to hold each other accountable. We have to stand on business all 2025. We should be standing on business every day, regardless of the year. But it's like, pick a side. And as your favorite mental health specialist, as a rich auntie, as an entrepreneur, just as a motivational teacher, stand on business and pick a side. So all I'm going to ask you as I end off this video is, which side are you on? And I'm speaking from experience. Are you going to complain about what you want, or do you want to stay where you are? Because I'm not staying where I used to be. I've been through too much. I've witnessed too much, and I'll be DAMNED. You really have to learn how to be serious about certain things if you want to do certain things, and you cannot be worried about what is going on in the world right now, because it's always going to be something going on in the world. And I'm going to end off the video like that. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, and you like this video, let me know by liking it, giving it a big thumbs up. Make sure to comment down below and subscribe. I'm here to trigger and challenge people. That's why you see me on at least on this account. I'm gonna say it for you page. I do have Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. All that will be down in the description box below. If you see me here, I mean, just in general, I am gonna trigger and challenge people to become better, because it's like, we are a reflection of the world. If, like I said, if you guys are really there, it's not about being superior or thinking that you're better than people. No, energy speaks for itself. Energy doesn't lie. Like, people can yap all day, but it's like, baby girl, baby boy, your spirit spoke before you did. clock it, as the kids would like to say. So if you're interested in more content like this, like I said, let me know what you guys want to talk about. If you watch the video all the way to the end, don't be afraid, because it's just like, if you aren't certain people around you, they're going to be introduced in your life. But it's just like, don't sabotage relationship. If you are coming over here, make sure you're using your time wisely, be effective. But it's just like, if you want certain things, this is a motivational, this is a mental health account. So that's what these videos are. Now, of course, I do have other social medias, okay? If you are meant to see those, you'll see them. But this, we mean business over here. And if you're interested in a service and a session, make sure you head to my website. All the information will be down in the description box below. And you guys, I don't know if I said this already, but I have oil in my eyes. So this entire time I've been rubbing my face. I don't know if that's been making it better or if it's making it worse. And the lights that I have, can you guys see that? You can see the shadow clearly. You see the shadow. It's like super duper bright. But yeah, we gotta make a decision. We gotta stand on business. We have to decide, like, okay, is this what we want to do or no? Okay, love you, bye.